Hey guys, here's Liege Neves from Traveling the World, and today I have here two amazing ladies. They have something in common, which is passion for Brazil, passion for the Amazon, and I'll let them introduce themselves, and we're gonna run a few questions for them to clarify some doubts about Brazil, some ideas about Brazil. So, could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Dr. Cindy Howard. I'm a professor of biology and environmental science in Houston, Texas.
And I am Suzanne Smith. I am the executive director of the Amazon River Dolphin Conservation Foundation.
So here's Liege now, Katie. So we're gonna ask those ladies about, there is this, everybody's talking about mosquitoes and Zika in Brazil and how is the situation. And I want you guys to share a little bit about this experience with me, because I haven't seen much of mosquitoes, but hey, I want you guys as foreigners to share that information with me. How was your experience in the boat right now? Have you seen a lot of mosquitoes? How was that?
We've just spent 9 days on the rivers. The first half was on the Solimoes, and we had a few mosquitoes, but not very many, nothing to be concerned about. And our last few days on the Rio Negro, we haven't seen any mosquitoes at all. So we're not really worried about Zika. There are very few mosquitoes that we encounter, and when we do, we prepare for them. We wear long sleeves and long pants and put insect repellent on when we need to.
I haven't used that in a long time. It's true. How about you, Suzanne?
Yes, as you know, I've been out on the Rio Negro this week in a tiny canoe.
I know!
A very tiny canoe, no protection, no shelter of any kind. And just like Cindy said, I have not had any problems at all. Certainly we take precautions if we need to with the long sleeves, any repellent that we might want to bring along. But quite honestly, I think Cindy and I were joking earlier, being from the southeastern part of the United States, we have far more problems with mosquitoes and other insects there than I've seen certainly this week or any other time that I have visited Brazil.
That's very good.
Very true.
Yeah. And let me talk with you guys. Next question is about myths. Actually, you were teaching me about this word today, right? And I wrote it down. Myth busting.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
I was not
Very
sure.
good.
I was not sure if my English was going to get there. And I want you guys to tell me a little bit about that. We actually, Suzanne, we spoke about that last trip, or last January, if I'm not mistaken. And you're telling me all those funny things, and I would love to both share with me those experiences that they can tell. And I get it. Like, I had some myths on my mind when I went to US too.
Sure.
I mean, we cannot judge. But I would love to hear from you both about those myths.
Sure. You want to take
it? You choose.
Okay, well, I'll start with the myth that the piranhas are going to eat you alive.
Hear that one all the time.
That's not true at all. We fish for piranhas, we catch piranhas, and we eat the piranhas.
So it's the other way around.
It's the other way around.
So they don't eat us alive.
No, they do not eat us.
That's true.
It is true. We swim with piranhas. There are many areas in the Rio Negro and Solimoes that we've been to, and we've come across piranhas as we've been snorkeling, and they haven't given us any problems at all.
No.
And even me as Brazilian, I was concerned about that too. I mean, it's not just in US you get that. I was like, looking around, and really, and I was snorkeling too, and it didn't.
No.
What is the second myth that you can tell me, Suzanne?
Well, certainly, I think you know what my favorite myth is, because I think there's maybe a tiny part of me that wants it to be real somewhere on the river. And that is the one where it's believed, or it used to be believed in the villages far north and far away from here, that the Botos can shapeshift into a man at night, and they are very seductive, and they will charm the women, and they seduce the women, and they will take you away. And you know,
you're hoping that to happen.
Me han encantado, yes. But the reality of the situation is, as many photos as I have been around, I have photographed, and I have swam with, one has not taken me away.
Yes. Yes.
I've tried at Boto, but nothing. It's still here.
Good. Okay, you're safe. There is something about anacondas. Is that right?
Yes, a lot of people believe anacondas are 100 feet long, and they will come charging out of the forest and wrap themselves around you and drag you back to the forest, and that's not true at all.
Maybe because of movies, right?
Exactly.
We see that in movies.
Exactly.
Not in
Do
Brazil.
not watch the movie Anaconda.
Do not. It's not like that at all.
We search for anacondas because it's a real treat to see one. We don't see them very often.
It's hard to see, especially
And when we have encountered them, they've been minding their own business and not interested in us at all. So.
And we've seen other types of snakes as well that
Exactly.
actually have a little bit more of a nasty reputation, like the tree boas. And they really just want no part of us, and they just want to stay away and be left alone.
That's
So
right.
no problems with snakes.
Do you have any other myth that you can share with us? Do you have some?
I know which one you want to talk about, probably.
Which one? Come, gee.
Everybody wants to know about Candy Room.
Awesome. I want you to tell. You know what? I was supposed to interview a doctor. I forgot his name. He's a specialist from South Brazil, and we couldn't make the time to do it. I would love for you, especially you know that better than anyone. Tell about the Candy Room and why is that, and what it does to you, and tell me.
How did I get this side?
Don't tell me, because it is a pretty interesting story.
But it is funny. It is definitely one of those things that people ask, when they find out that you go to Brazil, and I'm sure Cindy gets to say, don't you have this problem?
Exactly.
And you can't pee in the water and things like that. So it is a small fish that is supposed to follow the urine stream, and it will go into places where you do not want things to go. And actually, they have very jagged fins. And what they will do is they can lodge themselves wherever they land
Oh my God, yeah.
and set up shop.
So set up shop. Very much. My So it could happen to men or women, right?
Yes.
It doesn't matter. We know a story about a guy
I think the men seem to
be
a little
more
more squirmish
to do that,
about the
right?
stories, yes. But I have never known anyone who, self-included, that has come across a kangaroo that has set up shop.
Another thing
It's
is
a good way to protect yourself.
just pee with your shorts.
Do not
Right?
go nude in the water.
One more question. It's very common here in Brazil. It's about security. So I want to know from them how safe they feel in Brazil and how safe they felt in the expedition. So it's going to be 2 and 1. So Suzanne, could you share a little bit about security when you went through Manaus and everything, and also in the Amazon?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to share that with you because it certainly is a big concern that we hear from people in the United States. And on my trips down here, I can either spend a lot of time in the city or I do spend a lot of time out on the river. So I have experience with both. And Manaus is a really big city, and they have close to 2 million people in the city. So there's certainly a lot of people, and it's just basic common sense. You travel to any city in the United States. Living in New Orleans for a very long time, there's certainly a big concern about crime and violence. But you just have to be smart. You can't be out at all hours of the night. You can't be walking down the street by yourself. You shouldn't be walking in dark streets. Things of that nature. Just common sense, street smarts. So I do travel around Manaus quite a bit by myself. I do travel around quite a bit with other people as well. But again, it's just keeping a good head on your shoulders, being aware of your surroundings, and I've never had a problem here. People are lovely. They are always very open to helping me out and giving me directions or things like that. So yeah, it's just common sense. And anytime that I've been out on the river, whether it's been on the large boats during an expedition or like this week, just in a canoe by myself with one crew member, I could not feel more safe. I know, especially with the crew here that we work with, they're all fantastic, and there's no one that makes me feel safer on this river. I'm very happy to travel with them.
And you're more
Love doing that.
Brazilian. You both are actually more Brazilian than probably us, and that's great. And that shows that you feel safe now.
Yeah, I absolutely feel safe in this country, and I'm sure Cindy feels the same way. And
Definitely.
Cindy, can you share a little bit about security with me?
Most of the trips that I make here are with groups, and we're out on the river most of the time. But we visit small towns and small villages in addition to Manaus. And all the small towns and villages are completely safe. We have no issues at all. When we're in Manaus, I advise my groups, just like in any other big city, not to be wearing your camera gear and advertise unless you're tourists. And that's just good advice for traveling in any city, anywhere. And Manaus is no different, but we definitely feel safe, and we all love the city, and we love our city tours, and have nothing but good memories of it.
it's all a balance.
It's all balance. You just
There are consequences for all of your actions.
exactly.